Have you ever walked into a room and felt the chill of unseen hostility? Maybe a coworker offers a forced smile or an acquaintance suddenly turns cold. You wonder, what did I do wrong? The truth is, sometimes it's not about what you've done, but about the complex, often hidden dynamics of human emotions and social interaction. This can feel unsettling, even unfair. But what if I told you that understanding these silent sources of resentment could be the key to not only navigating, but thriving in social relationships? Today, we'll dive deep into 9 surprising reasons why people might harbor negative feelings toward you. Reasons that often say more about them than about you. From hidden envy to societal expectations, each insight will peel back the layers of this mystery, helping you reflect and respond with resilience, wisdom, and, yes, a stoic calm. Stay with us to the end, because understanding the last reason will unlock a perspective that could transform the way you view yourself and your interactions. Let's begin. 1. Personal insecurities and projection. Why do some people seem to dislike you for no apparent reason? One answer lies in their own insecurities. When individuals struggle with feelings of inadequacy or fear, they often project these emotions onto others. You become, in their eyes, a symbol of what they lack or fear most. But what is projection, and why does it manifest in hostility? Projection acts as a psychological defense mechanism. By transferring their internal struggles onto you, they temporarily avoid facing their own flaws. For example, imagine a colleague who feels insecure about their professional performance. If you consistently deliver excellent work, your success might become a constant reminder of their perceived shortcomings. Instead of acknowledging their struggles, they might channel their frustration into subtle resentment toward you. Have you noticed how some people seem agitated in your presence even when you've done nothing to provoke them? This is a classic sign of projection. You may unintentionally reflect the qualities they wish they possessed: confidence, competence, or even contentment. To them, your strengths highlight their weaknesses, and that discomfort can quickly turn into dislike. But here's the critical lesson from Stoicism. What others think or feel about you is beyond your control. Marcus Aurelius reminds us to focus on our own actions and virtues. When someone resents you due to their insecurities, recognize that it's their battle, not yours. Do not let their internal turmoil disturb your peace. This understanding doesn't mean you should ignore their feelings entirely. Empathy and compassion, essential Stoic virtues, can help diffuse tension. By offering kindness, you might encourage them to confront their insecurities rather than project them onto you. However, you must remain grounded, knowing that their emotions are ultimately their responsibility. Consider this. How many times have you felt uneasy around someone simply because they seemed to embody what you lacked? Reflect on those moments, and you may gain insight into the roots of silent resentment directed toward you. Remember, the key to navigating these situations lies in maintaining your composure and integrity. Now that we've uncovered the link between personal insecurities and hidden hostility, let's explore another common but more insidious reason people might secretly dislike you: envy. 2. Envy and jealousy. Have you ever noticed how admiration can sometimes curdle into resentment? What starts as a quiet appreciation of your achievements or qualities might, over time, transform into envy. Envy and jealousy are powerful, corrosive emotions, often hidden beneath a veneer of politeness. They thrive in silence, subtly influencing how people perceive and treat you. But why do these feelings arise, and how can they impact your relationships? Envy stems from a deep sense of dissatisfaction. When someone sees in you what they desire but feel they cannot attain, be it success, confidence, relationships, or even a particular lifestyle, it triggers a comparison. Instead of drawing inspiration from your accomplishments, they feel diminished. Your achievements, once admired, now act as a painful reminder of their own perceived inadequacies. Jealousy, on the other hand, often involves a fear of losing something they value to you. It might be a mutual friend, recognition at work, or even attention in social circles. Both emotions, envy and jealousy, can quietly erode the foundation of a relationship, creating distance, distrust, and sometimes outright hostility. Think of a time when you shared good news about a promotion or personal milestone. Did you notice someone responding with lukewarm enthusiasm or veiled criticism? That discomfort you felt likely stemmed from their struggle with envy. Perhaps they wish they had your success, but feel trapped in their circumstances. Instead of celebrating with you, they might begin to resent you. But as Marcus Aurelius said, don't worry about things outside your control. Envy and jealousy are not about you. They are internal struggles rooted in someone else's perceptions and insecurities. What you can control is your response. Instead of shrinking to make others comfortable, embrace your achievements unapologetically. The Stoic path encourages us to take pride in our virtues and efforts, as long as we remain humble and true to our principles. At the same time, be mindful of how you present your successes. Stoicism teaches the importance of temperance, balancing confidence with humility. You need not downplay your achievements, but you can express them in a way that invites others to share in your joy rather than feel threatened by it. Ask yourself, how often do you let others' reactions influence your feelings about your own success? Do you find yourself holding back, fearing that your accomplishments might spark envy in those around you? Recognize this pattern and remind yourself that another's envy is beyond your control. Understanding envy and jealousy as silent forces shaping social dynamics helps you navigate these emotions with wisdom and resilience. And once you've mastered this perspective, you'll be ready to tackle another common source of hidden resentment, the relentless competition and rivalry that can poison even the closest relationships. 3. Competition or rivalry. Competition is a natural part of life, often driving us to push beyond our limits and achieve personal growth. But when competition crosses a certain threshold, it can shift from a healthy motivator to a toxic force, breeding resentment and hostility. Have you ever felt the tension of an unspoken rivalry with a colleague, friend, or even a family member? If so, you've witnessed how competition can silently erode relationships. At its core, rivalry stems from comparison. It's the constant weighing of one's achievements against another's, and when someone feels consistently outperformed or undervalued, bitterness begins to take root. Instead of focusing on their own progress, they become fixated on your success, perceiving it as a personal slight or loss. Imagine a workplace scenario where two employees vie for the same promotion. If you're the one who gets it, the other might mask their disappointment with a smile, but internally, they may begin to harbor resentment. The same dynamic can occur in friendships. Perhaps you've achieved a significant milestone, like buying a home or starting a family, while your friend feels stuck. Over time, this sense of falling behind can sour into quiet animosity. Stoicism offers a crucial insight here. Another's success does not diminish your own. Marcus Aurelius reminds us to view life not as a zero-sum game, but as a shared journey where each person follows their unique path. When you succeed, it's not at the expense of others, and their hostility often reflects their struggles with self-worth rather than any fault of yours. But how should you handle such rivalry? First, acknowledge it without letting it control your actions. If you notice someone acting cold or distant after a success of yours, resist the urge to overcompensate or seek their approval. Instead, maintain your course, rooted in your values and goals. Second, where appropriate, turn competition into collaboration. In many cases, perceived rivals can become allies if you shift the dynamic. Invite them to share in your journey, whether by offering support, acknowledging their strengths, or finding common ground. This approach can dissolve resentment and foster mutual respect. Here's a question to reflect on. How do you respond when faced with competition? Do you rise above it, or do you find yourself engaging in the same comparison game? Recognizing your own tendencies can help you navigate rivalry with greater clarity and composure. At this point, let's pause and reflect. If this discussion resonates with you, consider sharing your thoughts below. Have you experienced the sting of hidden competition? How did you handle it? Your stories and insights could help others who are facing similar challenges. As we move forward, we'll explore another powerful force that can shape people's perceptions of you: misunderstandings and the breakdown of communication. Stay with us. Understanding this next point could drastically improve your ability to maintain harmony in your relationships. 4. Misunderstandings and ineffective communication. Have you ever walked away from a conversation feeling confident about what you conveyed, only to later discover that the other person interpreted your words entirely differently? Misunderstandings, no matter how small, can grow like cracks in a foundation, gradually destabilizing even the strongest of relationships. At the heart of many silent resentments lies ineffective communication, a failure to clearly express intentions or accurately interpret others' words. Communication is a delicate art. A single misplaced word, an unintended tone, or even a mistimed pause can create a perception of disrespect or indifference. Perhaps you've unintentionally hurt someone's feelings with an offhand comment or a joke. To you, it was harmless. To them, it may have felt dismissive or even cruel. Over time, these small moments accumulate, forming a narrative in the other person's mind that paints you in a negative light. Consider this. How often do you assume someone understands your point of view, only to find out later that they misinterpreted your intentions? Misunderstandings like these can lead to feelings of exclusion, frustration, or even betrayal, especially if they're not addressed promptly. Worse, in the absence of clarity, people often fill in the gaps with their own assumptions, which are rarely generous. From a Stoic perspective, the solution begins with self-awareness. Epictetus reminds us to focus on what we can control, and in the realm of communication, this means taking responsibility for how we express ourselves. Strive to communicate with clarity and intention, choosing words that accurately reflect your thoughts. Equally important is active listening, truly hearing the other person and seeking to understand their perspective without rushing to respond or judge. But even with the best intentions, misunderstandings are inevitable. When they occur, how should you respond? Stoicism teaches us to remain calm and approach the situation with humility. If someone shares that they've been hurt or offended by your words, resist the urge to become defensive. Instead, seek to clarify and, if necessary, apologize sincerely. This isn't about admitting fault where none exists, but about valuing the relationship enough to address the misunderstanding openly. Here's a practical exercise. Think of a recent conflict or tense interaction. Could it have stemmed from a miscommunication? Reflect on how you might have expressed yourself differently or sought clarification earlier. This habit of reflection can help you navigate future conversations with greater mindfulness. Remember, effective communication isn't about being perfect. It's about being present and intentional. When misunderstandings do arise, they present an opportunity for growth, both for you and the other person. By addressing these moments with grace and empathy, you can prevent small cracks from widening into irreparable rifts. Next, we'll uncover how the whispers of rumors and gossip can quietly shape others' perceptions of you, often in ways that feel beyond your control. Understanding this dynamic is crucial to preserving your peace and integrity in the face of social challenges. Stay with us. 5. The influence of rumors and gossip. Few things can damage a person's reputation as swiftly and thoroughly as rumors and gossip. These whispered words, often embellished or entirely fabricated, spread like wildfire, distorting the truth and shaping perceptions before you even have a chance to speak for yourself. Have you ever felt the sting of being judged or excluded based on something that wasn't even true? If so, you've experienced firsthand the insidious power of gossip. Why do people engage in gossip? At its root, gossip often stems from a desire to feel important or connected. Sharing inside information gives the gossiper a sense of control and significance. But the damage doesn't end with them. The listeners too play a role, often accepting the rumors as truth without seeking verification. This creates a collective perception of you based not on reality, but on distorted narratives that can quickly turn into silent resentment. Imagine someone spreading a false rumor about your work ethic. Even if your performance is exemplary, the seed of doubt planted by gossip can lead others to view you with suspicion. Over time, this unfounded negativity builds, isolating you and impacting your relationships or career. How should you respond when faced with such challenges? Here, Stoicism offers invaluable guidance. Marcus Aurelius reminds us to focus on our actions, not others' opinions. Your integrity, how you conduct yourself in both public and private life, is your most powerful defense against falsehoods. While you cannot control the spread of rumors, you can control how you respond to them. By consistently acting with honesty, diligence, and kindness, you allow the truth of your character to shine through, eventually dispelling the shadows cast by gossip. It's also essential to resist the temptation to retaliate. When you discover that someone has spoken ill of you, your instinct might be to confront them or spread counter-rumors. However, Stoicism encourages a more measured approach. Instead of descending into the same destructive behaviors, rise above the fray. Let your actions speak louder than any rumor. But what about the relationships damaged by gossip? Should you attempt to rebuild trust or simply move on? The answer depends on the context and the individuals involved. Some relationships can be mended through open, honest dialogue. Others may require you to set firm boundaries and prioritize your well-being. Let me ask you this. Have you ever been the subject of gossip? How did it affect you, and what steps did you take to cope? Share your experiences in the comments below. Your insights might provide comfort and guidance to others facing similar challenges. If this resonates with you, don't forget to like the video. It helps spread these Stoic principles to those who need them. And as we move forward, we'll explore yet another reason people may secretly harbor negativity toward you: the fundamental differences in values and beliefs that shape our lives. Stay with us. 6. Differences in fundamental values and beliefs. In a world as diverse as ours, it's inevitable that we encounter people whose values and beliefs differ from our own. These differences, while enriching in many ways, can also be a quiet source of conflict. Have you ever found yourself at odds with someone, not because of an overt disagreement, but because your worldviews simply don't align? These clashes, though often subtle, can foster resentment and misunderstanding. At their core, values and beliefs shape how we perceive the world and interact with it. They guide our decisions, influence our priorities, and define what we consider right or wrong. When someone encounters values that challenge their own, it can feel like a personal attack on their identity. Instead of seeing your differing perspective as an opportunity for growth, they may view it as a threat, sparking silent disapproval or disdain. Consider a common workplace scenario. You value collaboration and transparency, while a colleague prioritizes individual achievement and discretion. Without open communication, these differing approaches can lead to friction. They might see your transparency as oversharing or even undermining, while you might view their discretion as secrecy, or selfishness. Neither perspective is inherently wrong, but the failure to acknowledge and respect these differences can lead to resentment. Stoicism provides a powerful framework for navigating such conflicts. Epictetus reminds us that our beliefs are shaped by our individual experiences and that we should strive for tolerance and understanding. When faced with someone who holds values contrary to yours, instead of reacting defensively, pause and reflect. Why do they see the world this way? Understanding their perspective doesn't mean you have to agree with it, but it allows you to approach the situation with empathy. Equally important is the Stoic principle of focusing on your own path. Just as you are not responsible for conforming to others' values, they are not obligated to adopt yours. Recognizing this can liberate you from the exhausting need for validation and approval. It's okay if someone disagrees with your choices or values. What matters is that you remain true to your principles. Now, think about your own life. Have you ever judged someone harshly because their values didn't align with yours? Or perhaps you felt judged for choosing a different path. Reflecting on these moments can help you cultivate greater tolerance and humility. In the end, differences in values and beliefs are not barriers but opportunities. They challenge us to broaden our perspectives and grow in understanding. And when we learn to navigate these differences with patience and respect, we open the door to richer, more meaningful connections. Next, we'll turn our attention to one of the most destructive forces in social dynamics, the lack of empathy and understanding. This silent barrier often leads to unnecessary conflict and resentment. Join us as we explore how fostering empathy can transform your relationships and bring peace to even the most strained interactions. 7. Lack of empathy and understanding. In an ideal world, every interaction would be built on a foundation of empathy and understanding. We would seek to truly know one another, valuing the unique experiences that shape each person's perspective. Yet, in reality, a lack of empathy is one of the most pervasive sources of silent resentment. Have you ever felt misunderstood or dismissed by someone who didn't take the time to see things from your point of view? Or perhaps you've struggled to understand another's behavior, leading to frustration or even disdain. Empathy, the ability to put yourself in someone else's shoes, is a skill that requires effort and intentionality. Without it, we fall into the trap of hasty judgments, viewing others through the narrow lens of our own experiences. This lack of understanding can lead to misinterpretation of motives and actions, fostering feelings of animosity where none should exist. Consider a situation where a friend or colleague fails to meet your expectations. Without empathy, you might label them as lazy, uncommitted, or indifferent. However, if you take the time to understand their circumstances, a personal struggle, overwhelming workload, or even a health issue, you might see their actions in a new light. Empathy transforms judgment into compassion, allowing for deeper connections and mutual respect. Yet, the absence of empathy is not always intentional. In today's fast-paced world, it's easy to become so consumed with our own challenges that we overlook the struggles of others. This self-focus, often mistaken for indifference, can lead to a breakdown in relationships. People may begin to perceive you as distant or uncaring, fueling silent resentment. Stoicism offers profound wisdom in addressing this issue. Marcus Aurelius frequently reflected on the interconnectedness of humanity, reminding us that we are all part of a larger whole. To live harmoniously, we must strive to understand and support one another. This doesn't mean we must always agree or condone others' actions, but rather that we approach each interaction with an open heart and mind. How then can we cultivate empathy in our daily lives? Start by practicing active listening. When someone shares their thoughts or feelings, resist the urge to immediately respond or offer solutions. Instead, Focus on truly hearing them, seeking to understand not just their words, but the emotions and experiences behind them. Ask yourself, what might this person be going through? How can I approach this situation with kindness and patience? At the same time, recognize the limits of your empathy. You won't always fully understand another's perspective, and that's okay. What matters is the effort, the willingness to bridge the gap between your experiences and theirs. This simple act can dissolve resentment and pave the way for healthier, more authentic relationships. Reflect for a moment. When was the last time you felt truly understood? Or conversely, when did you last misunderstand someone only to later realize you had judged them unfairly? These moments, though often painful, offer valuable lessons in the importance of empathy. As we move forward, consider how you can apply this principle in your interactions. And as we explore the next topic, how societal pressures and expectations shape resentment, you'll gain further insights into the hidden dynamics that influence our relationships. Stay with us. There's much more to uncover. 8. The influence of social expectations. Society has an unspoken rule book, a set of expectations that dictates how we should live, work, and interact. From career paths to personal relationships, these norms often shape our decisions, consciously or not. But what happens when you choose to defy these expectations? What if your life doesn't fit neatly into the mold society has created? For many, your divergence becomes a source of discomfort, even resentment. Have you ever been judged for taking an unconventional path? Perhaps you pursued a creative career instead of a traditional one, chose not to marry, or embraced a lifestyle that others found unfamiliar. In such cases, their resentment may not stem from malice, but from the tension your choices create within their worldview. You serve as a mirror reflecting possibilities they either fear or have been taught to reject. This dissonance can quietly fuel their negative feelings toward you. Social expectations are powerful because they offer a sense of order and predictability. When someone sees you thriving outside these norms, it challenges their belief that success or happiness is only achievable within the conventional framework. They might wonder, if this person can be fulfilled on a different path, what does that say about my choices? Rather than grappling with this question, they may resort to subtle judgment or distance themselves from you. From a Stoic perspective, the opinions of others, especially those rooted in societal norms, should not dictate how we live. Marcus Aurelius reminds us, "It never ceases to amaze me. We all love ourselves more than other people, but care more about their opinion than our own." The Stoic path is one of authenticity and inner alignment. Your duty is to live according to your values and principles, not to meet the fluctuating expectations of others. This isn't to say you should dismiss all societal norms outright. Some offer valuable structure and wisdom, while others may simply not align with your personal goals. The key is discernment, knowing which expectations serve your growth and which hinder your authentic self. Ask yourself, what societal pressures have influenced my decisions? Have I ever felt resentment towards someone for defying these norms? Reflecting on these questions can help you uncover hidden biases and free yourself from the weight of external judgments. The next time someone criticizes your unconventional choices, respond not with defensiveness, but with quiet confidence. Let your life speak for itself. Over time, they may come to respect your authenticity, even if they don't fully understand it. As we move toward the final reason why people might harbor resentment, one that cuts deeply into the human desire for acknowledgement and validation, remember that your path is uniquely yours. Stay true to it, and let's explore how the lack of recognition can stir hidden negativity in those around you. 9. Lack of recognition. Recognition is a universal human desire. We all crave acknowledgement for our efforts, whether it's a simple, thank you, or a more public affirmation of our contributions. But what happens when that recognition is absent? When others feel overlooked or undervalued, bitterness can quietly take root, often directed toward those who seem to receive the praise they yearn for. This silent resentment, born from unfulfilled expectations, is one of the most insidious reasons why people might secretly hate you. Have you ever been the target of someone's coldness after receiving praise or a reward? Perhaps you were recognized at work for your achievements, and a colleague who felt equally deserving reacted with subtle hostility. Or maybe in a social setting, your efforts to organize or contribute went unnoticed, while someone else was praised for doing less. These experiences highlight how deeply the need for recognition impacts our relationships. But why does the lack of recognition sting so much? It ties directly to our sense of self-worth. When people invest time, energy, or emotion into something and receive little to no acknowledgement, it can feel like a personal failure or an invalidation of their value. Over time, this perceived neglect can foster resentment, particularly toward those who appear to be thriving in the spotlight. Stoicism offers a crucial perspective here. True self-worth should never be dependent on external validation. As Epictetus reminds us, it is not what happens to you, but how you react to it that matters. The absence of recognition does not diminish the value of your contributions. Similarly, the praise you receive should not inflate your sense of importance. A Stoic remains grounded, finding fulfillment in the act of contributing itself rather than in the accolades it might bring. However, recognizing this doesn't mean dismissing others' feelings. If you sense that someone is quietly harboring resentment due to a perceived lack of recognition, consider how you can uplift them. A small gesture, a word of appreciation, a moment of acknowledgement can go a long way in easing tensions. While it's not your responsibility to manage others' emotions, extending kindness aligns with the Stoic virtue of justice, fostering harmony in your interactions. Reflect for a moment. How often do you rely on external validation to feel valued? And how do you respond when others around you are praised while your efforts go unnoticed? Understanding these dynamics can help you approach both recognition and its absence with a balanced mindset. As we close this exploration of the hidden reasons behind silent resentment, remember that these feelings often have more to do with the internal struggles of others than with your actions. By embracing Stoic principles, you can navigate these complexities with wisdom and grace, maintaining your peace regardless of external circumstances. You've journeyed through 9 powerful reasons why people might secretly harbor negativity toward you. From personal insecurities to societal pressures, each reveals the intricate web of emotions and expectations that shape human relationships. Understanding these dynamics empowers you to respond with empathy and resilience, staying true to your values without being swayed by others' judgments. Now, it's your turn. Reflect on what we've discussed and share your thoughts in the comments. Have you encountered silent resentment in your life? How did you handle it? Your insights could inspire and support others on their path. If you found value in this exploration, don't forget to like the video and subscribe for more Stoic reflections. Together, we can continue to uncover the wisdom of Stoicism and apply it to the challenges of modern life. Share this with anyone who might benefit from understanding these hidden dynamics, and let's grow this community of thoughtful, resilient individuals. Thank you for being here, and may you continue to walk your path with integrity, courage, and compassion. See you in the next video.